Good day. My name is Keith Feely. Well, in fact, today I'm not Keith Feely, I'm RunningBear. Normally I would say that's my email address and that's my Twitter handle, but today it's very different. Today it's Thursday the 23rd of April 2020, and I thought today, being a Thursday, people have been asked to clap and give a song for our key workers. This basically is the only song that I really know, and you'll see that that's very arguable. But I thought instead of perhaps giving a clap this evening, I would give people a chance to look at and listen to and laugh at this brief video. Captain Tom is going to be 100 in a few days' time. My dad would have been 101 last Monday. So I basically say thanks to Captain Tom for the money he's raised, and say thank you very much, Dad, for looking after me for so many years. I also would like to say thank you to Dave, my brother, Dave Feely, who died sadly last year at the age of 75. And one of the things that I've always felt that he was mainly responsible for me doing RunningBear, because he had the record in 1960 by Johnny Preston that I learnt and loved ever since. I actually also would like to say thank you very much to the key workers, who basically, three of whom I know very well. One of whom, Zoe Feely, is a nurse at Hammersmith Hospital, and she's very much in the front line. My other two people, key workers, are my two daughters, Alice and Lucy, who are both teachers. Alice is a teacher who's going in each morning this week, and Lucy was going into school last week. They're important people, as are many of the others, but one of the most important things for me to convey is this year I was meant to have two operations. Not one, I'm greedy like that. One on my prostate and one to have a kidney removed. Because of the coronavirus crisis, that's had to be postponed, and hopefully when I can have it, I will be able to say thanks once again to the key workers in the NHS. I would also like for my 7 grandchildren, Aoife, Edie, Darcy, Zara, Leah, Reza Jr. and Grace, to have a chance to see their granddad do perhaps his only, and that's arguable, song which he's recounted many times. I'm not even sure that Zoe's actually ever seen this, and she probably wished she hadn't at the end of it. But I will start off by explaining how this came about. I've already mentioned that my brother introduced me to RunningBear, but at Lancaster University was the first time I performed this in 1970, I think it was. And one of those things where it began to grow and grow from that. I did it then with my friend John Noakes, who now lives over in California. But one of the important things for me to mention is then I went to PE college to become a teacher, and at Carnegie I began to perform it there, where I was encouraged to do it perhaps more and more often and more elaborate. So by the time I began teaching at Marshall's Park School I actually attended as a pupil, I was already perhaps performing this, but not to the extent perhaps that I did from there on in, because then I became a very regular performer of RunningBear, particularly because I met at Marshall's Park Andy Sankey, who played rugby, and he introduced me for the Old Edwardians, a team that I played for many years, based in Romford. And the old boys at Old Edwardians will probably love this because they've seen it so many times. And when I went on tour with them, we were asked to perform this. I was asked to perform this numerous times. I say we because they obviously took part in the audience. And it's crucial for me to mention that when I went to Boswell's, and I'll show you a slide here of me performing it at the school Boswell's in Chelmsford, and I used to do this on an annual basis to raise money for charity, because basically by that stage people found it very amusing and were quite keen to have a good laugh at me, understandably when you've seen it. But the old Eds were a very important part of my life, and people like Malc Tipler, Dick Telford, Roger Deadman, Dave Solomons, and my long-suffering first wife, Dee, who's become Dee Wilkinson now, have suffered this numerous times, and perhaps were, would be understandable if they avoided listening and seeing this ever again. But perhaps the person who has suffered this more than anybody else is my wife, Elaine. This is a picture of me performing it. It's probably the only recording that we've actually got at this moment in time. Not a great quality, but then again, when you see my performance, you'll understand why. But we got committed in 1997, not to a lunatic asylum, so some might have said I should have been in that a long time ago, but we got committed to each other, and I performed it there. And one of the things which I want to mention is that probably the last time I performed it is about 20 years ago, so I'm very rusty, and this is me performing it at Andy and Lorna's 60th, at least I think it was anyway, too drunk to remember, to be perfectly honest. But the last slide I'm going to show is in 1995, I actually ran the London Marathon as RunningBear. I should have gone in this guard, but we hadn't prepared it at that stage. So one of the things I would like to say is I hope that you enjoy this, and the key workers and everybody else perhaps gets further enjoyment and keep up the really good work. So here goes. Oompa, 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 oompa. On the banks of the river stood RunningBear, young and brave. On the other side of the river stood his lovely Indian maid, a little white dove. Was her name, such a lovely sight to see. But their tribes fought with each other, so their love could never be. RunningBear loves the white dove, with a love begs the sky. RunningBear loves the white dove, with a love I couldn't hide. He couldn't swim the raging river, 'cause the river was too wide. He couldn't reach a little white dove waiting on the other side. In the moonlight he could see her blowing kisses across the wave. A little heart was beating faster, waiting there for a brave. RunningBear loves the white dove, with a love begs the sky. RunningBear loves the white dove, with a love that couldn't die. RunningBear fell in the water, a little white dove, I did the same, and they swam out to each other. Through the swirling stream they came, as their hands touched and their lips met. A raging river pulled them down, and now they'll always be together in that happy hunting ground. RunningBear loves the white dove, with a love big as the sky. RunningBear loves the white dove, with a love that couldn't die. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that.